The redevelopment plan that we're asking to have adopted tonight is 25 North 26th Street. Again, it's an inclusionary family rental development. The property, most people know it's block 183, lot 9. It's one piece of property, 3.79 plus or minus acres. It is currently undeveloped. It's very important to understand, it's already been declared an area in need of redevelopment by our planning board and supported by our council. The project that is proposed, these are conceptual. I don't want to just be very clear about this. These are conceptual renderings. They're all subject to refinement and to modification as we go through that site plan process in front of the planning board. But this is where we're starting off with. As you enter the site, first floor, the ground level, this is grade, I should say, at the ground level. If I take this step back as you're coming into the site, that's that little green area. As you come in off of 26th Street, there's a large or longer driveway, entry, pickup, drop-off area. All of the gray is parking, proposed parking that's underneath the building. There's buffers on 2 of the sides, and then there's more parking on one of the other sides. Then there's a series of, this is a typical layout. Again, this is all conceptual at this point. It's going to be further refined, but this is a typical layout of the units. You see the different colors of the different sizes of the units. This is typical for it says typical floor plan. Imagine 3 of these on top of the parking. So it's 3 over parking altogether. It's a 4-story building. This is a typical building elevation. Again, they're all subject to refinement. These are not etched in stone. That's part of the site plan process with the planning board. And just 2 more elevations. Again, 3 stories of units over parking. This slide is now on, if you can imagine, on the golf course or hovering above the golf course a little bit, and it's like a drone went up and took an aerial 3D image, and I'm looking back into the project from the golf course. It shows you the 3 levels of apartment units over that 1 level of parking. Inside, the entire courtyard is all an open space terrace plaza area for the residents. The focal point has always been onto the golf course. These are the key components of the development. As I said before, there's 165 total units, and why this is important to me is those 25 affordable housing units. And that's the inclusionary component. So you have 140 that are market rate units, 25 of the units are regulated by those income levels that I showed on my second and third slide. It's a family rental, non-age restricted, inclusionary development. Those 25 affordable housing units will be deed restricted for a period of 30 years. The redevelopment plan includes a veteran's preference for those who qualify to live in one of those 25 units. Now, with respect to the market rate units, there are no 3-bedroom market rate units. This is very important. There's 96 market rate 1-bedrooms, and there's 44 market rate 2-bedrooms. So the market rate units are predominantly 1-bedroom. There's 96 of them. There's only 44 market rate 2-bedrooms, and then the 25 go under that bedroom distribution that's required under UHAC. It's a 4-story, 50-foot tall building. The parking is going to be fully compliant with RSIS standards so that we can ensure that there's no on-street traffic concerns or conflicts with the trucks out on 26th Street. It's fully parked, and if you remember, we had that long driveway in, circular drop-off, and way out also to keep the queuing of the cars off of the street. Architectural design on all 4 sides of the buildings is going to be the same, so it's not like sometimes when you come up you see the front of the building and it's beautiful, and then you go around and you see the side of the building or the rear of the building and it's built with entirely different building materials and it's generally ugly. we've agreed that all 4 sides of the building are going to look the same as if it was the front. And that's important because it's going to be a prominent building that's going to be above the landscape. Also, requirement of the redevelopment plan is the fire code. This project is being built to a higher level of fire code safety than what is required. Instead of NFPA 13R, the redevelopment plan requires NFPA 13, which is 1 level above what is required by code. Greater protection, ingress and egress for the residents who will be living there. The developer is fully responsible for a traffic study and any necessary on-site or off-site improvements. The developer is fully responsible for the environmental site remediation, any contamination, any soil removal, any capping under the site remediation program, fully responsible of the developer. So we're cleaning up an abandoned site, we're removing the environmental contaminants, and we're moving forward with this inclusionary housing project. Required affordable housing bedroom distribution. I keep talking about these 25 units. That's the inclusionary component under the rules that we must follow. I can't negotiate this. 5 of those are going to be 1 bedroom, 15 are going to be 2 bedroom, 5 are going to be 3 bedrooms. So it's a minimum of 20% of those can be have to be 3 bedroom, and a maximum of 20% can be 1 bedroom. That's where you get the bookends of 5 and 5. And then, how are these affordable housing units awarded? Again, we go back to that chart I had on my 3rd slide. We're in Region 2. We are not allowed to have a residency preference just for Kenilworth. So it's a regional preference. So if you qualify and you're within the region, it's a random process where you would get on a wait list if there is a wait list. But it's based on region, not just our borough. Other important components of this project, because we're taking a pretty large-scale residential project and inserting it into an otherwise industrial commercial area, we've included for those people that will be living here 8,000 square feet of interior amenities, a club room, a meeting room, a workout room. We haven't decided all that stuff yet. That's all done again at the planning board, but we've set aside 8,000 square feet, which is a pretty sizable amount for the use of the residents and their guests inside this building. And then outside the building, when I showed you that 3D model, that 3D model image, interior to the site, and I'll get back to it in a second, there's almost, I think it's 28,000 and change, but it's almost 30,000 square feet of exterior amenities, of outdoor terraces, places where you can go outside, and you don't have to just stay inside your apartment. You have a place to go outside, socialize, and so forth on this site. We have 50-foot buffers on 3 sides, so we keep the building off of and away from our commercial and industrial neighbors. We've orientated the project towards Galloping Hill Golf Course, so most of the views are focusing on the golf course. As I said, we have this pick-up and drop-off circular driveway so we can get the cars off of 26th Street into the project, fully parked RSIS, and we don't have a disruption of the traffic. And I'm only touching on the highlights. Just to be clear, there's a redevelopment plan. It's called 25 North 26th Street Redevelopment Plan, dated March 2021, signed by me. It's on file with our clerk. It's a very long document, but I encourage you to read it. It has a lot more details. I'm touching on highlights tonight just to get through this, but I hit all the major ones. But there is a redevelopment plan, and it is on file with our clerk, so anybody's available, anybody wants to read it, please do. My last slide is just, if anybody's interested, everything that I'm talking about tonight, these are just a couple of the sources. It's the Uniform Housing Affordability Controls, the UHAC, and the second round color regulations. If you're interested, I just want to give you a couple of sources where you can read up on all the facts that I provided tonight. And I will now answer any questions.